Hello,
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon. My voice is clear, screen is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so today we'll be moving towards the end of this unit as well as end of the subject. But after that also in this week, actually, we are going to see some of the practicals because almost I do feel so we have seen only 4 to 5 practicals. So there will be revision on unit 1 to unit 6 as well as there will be the practical conductions of machine learning, so that will be covered in this total week. So let us little bit have a flashback of what we have done in the unit number 6, that is applications of machine learning, and then we are moving towards the last two applications of machine learning, that is virtual personal assistance. That is one of the things, and the another one is the application of machine learning in biomedical. Now the applications which we have seen is quite limited. You know that it is having tons of applications now. Wherever you go, that a lot of applications are been founding in Facebook, that may be spam detection, not spam detection. This is even in order to study human genes, and all those things will be coming under the applications of machine learning. So you are having only six applications, but these applications are just for the academic purpose. If you go beyond those applications, it can be also useful for the research purpose also. So what we have seen is that we have seen the first application of email spam detection, that is spam or not spam detection, as well as malware filtering. Then the second application what we have seen is about image recognition by machine learning. Then we have seen speech recognition machine learning. This is also quite an interesting application nowadays. As the technology has evolved, a lot of speech recognition applications are coming in everyday's life. That is a voice driven application, that may be Amazon's Alexa, Apple Siri. It's one of the again very well known and famous application. Then Microsoft's Cortana, or there may be many voice responsive features of the Google. So this is what the speech recognition is doing in everybody's life today. Then after speech recognition, we have seen traffic predictions of machine learning. So instead of using the other algorithms, in this we have used a graph neural network model. So which has been useful for super segmentation, which is optimized with multiple objectives and predict the travel time for each super segment. So this is how the traffic predictions by machine learning can be easily carried out. Then one more algorithm that can be useful for traffic prediction is which can be useful to handle variable length sequence, and that is recurrent neural network, that is also called as RNN. So there are two algorithms that can be used for the traffic predictions by machine learning. One is GNN and the other one is RNN. Then we have also seen self-driving cars. So again, very hot topic. A lot of research is going on in these self-driving cars. So in the coming years, you will be saying no drivers. Self-driven cars will be running on the road. So there are a lot of things that has been happening here. Is that the self-driving cars can work together like a human eye and brain. So the role of human eyes and brains will be taken by the sensors. The sensors can be cameras, radars, and lidars. So it's an fisheye cameras will provide the extensive visuals for making purpose, whereas radar and lidars can be used in order to for the object detections. So the thing is that the radar and lidar will give you a very close view of the objects in front of the car. So this is going to be one of the most exciting applications of machine learning. The difference between radar and lidar is that in case of radar, what happens is that the visibility is poor. So they send the pulse of radio waves to locate an object and send back the signals about the speed and location of the object. Whereas in case of lidar, that calculates the distance through pulse layers by empowering driverless cars with 3D visuals of the surroundings and adding richer information about shape and depth. This is the most important technology that can be used in development of self-driving vehicles. So nowadays, the cars with AI powered power is also been coming into the picture. So AI powered vehicles can be is possible in this physical world. So you'll be seeing a lot of changes been happening in self-driving cars. A lot of features and functions will be added with the help of AI and machine learning. It is just a beginning. Um, we'll be seeing a lot of things happening in this self-driving cars application. Now, the next application, which is the fifth application, if I go by the numbers, that is a virtual personal assistant. So nowadays, what is happening is that in order to interact with an end user in a natural way, to answer questions, follow a conversation, to accomplish different tasks, we can use virtual personal assistant. Actually, they are nothing but a software program meant to interact with the end user in a natural way. Two kinds of inputs are usually possible for VA. It's a voice interface. So you can take an example of Apple Siri, or the second is a text interface, which can be taken as an example of Google Assistant. So there are two types of inputs to this VPA is taken. One is a voice and the other one is a text. The key point is that end user is supposed to be able to talk to the VPA using his natural language. And this is as you would do to the another human being rather than having to your specific set of commands or the computer language. It's like when a person is talking with the other person, both of them understand the similar language in which they speak. So similarly, you can have a VPA in such a way that you can talk with the VPA as if you're talking with a human, rather having a specific set of commands or computer language. So it's a clear cut like a human to human conversation. So it is a human to VPA type of conversation, which is quite similar to human to human. So this is where the VPA is coming into the pictures. Normally, virtual personal assistant actually was, I could say that it was invented or came in the picture when you find that number of old age people were when thrown out of their houses by their childrens. So they were nobody, they were having nobody to talk with them, and that's why they invented this virtual personal assistant so that they can have a talk with them like what you do discuss with an to a human. So it was invented for that purpose, but after that it started coming into everybody's life. Since the launch of Siri of Apple in 2011, the offers of VPA has developed rapidly to provide more generic user interface. So like it was invented in 2011, but after that it has coming into the coming, it is coming in everywhere. The user interface can be accessed from the user device like smartphones or specific device to perform actions, control objects, answer questions, and then make recommendation on its own. So the user interface is very easily possible with the help of VPA. So it not only can have a conversations with different answers and questions, but also can control the objects, perform actions, and even can also recommend some kind of choices of its own. The recent progress in machine learning that have made possible the rise of VPA come from specific approach to machine learning, that is neural network, and more specifically deep learning neural networks. So obviously VPA is not only the approach of machine learning in VPA is not restricted, but it has gone to the neural network and beyond that deep learning neural network. So see, you can see that how the evolution has happened. So earlier there was machine learning, then the neural network came into the picture of machine learning, and then the deep learning neural network started coming. So indeed, these new approach benefits in many different tasks which are core of natural language processing. Now we will see that how the process happens. So one is that how the speech can be converted to a text. So there are many tasks that is involved in processing natural language for a VPA, which can be regrouped in 4 main categories as described below. So we are going to see 4 different categories, how it can be. So the first category is how this speech to text can be converted. So you're going to take a speech signal, then you're going to pre-process it, then you're going to have a feature extraction. Now, after feature extraction, it will be going to a phonetic unit recognition where you can have an acoustic modeling. Then this phonetic unit recognition will be given to a language modeling. Now, what happens is that after feature extraction, the recognition will be done by this unit, and then there will be a language modeling. And after that, which will be converted into digital text. So from speech to text, the most important part here is that the feature extraction given to the phonetic unit, where acoustic modeling will take place. Now, acoustic modeling means what? Whatever the model data has been prepared to identify the speech and convert it into a text, that is been applied to the phonetic unit recognition, and that will help you to get into a language modeling which can be easily converted into digital text. So this is the first category of the 4 main categories, that is speech to text. For voice-based input, like those for VPA such as Siri, the first need consists of converting speech to an actionable data. So that speech has to be converted into data. The speech to text step, also called as speech recognition, is of paramount importance, because if the input is not currently recognized, all the following steps are useless. So what is the backbone of all these of the block diagrams of the block we have seen is the recognition of the speech of the input. If the input is not correctly recognized, then the further steps will be no use. Indeed, even an error in one word is likely to result in an inaccurate answer. So even if there is a single minute error at the input side, you will not get the proper output. Now, speech to text technologies have been in development for several decades, but the development of AI has enabled important improvement in last years. So this we have been listening that how to convert speech into text, but due to introduction of artificial intelligence and machine learning, it has come to into a new improvement in last few years. Second is syntax and semantic processing. Once a sequence of the spoken words is successfully converted to a text form, numerous and very complex task remains. So the first step is to convert the speech into text, and after that the second stage will begin. Syntax analysis is used to analyze and identify the structure of the sentence based on the knowledge of grammar. Semantic analysis is used to reach a partial representation of the meaning of the sentence based on the knowledge of the meaning of the words. So there are 2 parts in this. Once you convert the speech into text, then this text will have 3 kinds of analysis mostly. If you see that when you convert the speech into text, there are 3 kinds of analysis that can be done on that text. First is a syntax analysis, second one is a semantic analysis, and third one is a pragmatic analysis. Now, in case of syntax analysis, it is about the knowledge of the grammar. Then about the semantic analysis, it is about the knowledge of meaning of the words and sentences. And the third one is a pragmatic analysis, which is nothing but a final representation of the meaning of sentences based on information about the context. That is nothing but the perfect meaning of the sentence that will come into the fragmentation analysis. So knowledge of the meaning of words and sentences, the knowledge of the grammar, and the third one is nothing but the meaning of the sentences based on the information of the content. So that is nothing but the syntax and semantic processing. Then the third one is question and then answering. So there will be a response. When some question will be asked, you have to give and respond to that. So how that part will be carried out? So for the vast majority of applications related to natural language, an answer is given back after the query from the user. Obviously, this is one of the applications Now, if you see at this completely VPA, it is divided into number of parts. Now, recognizing the speech to text and then doing different analysis. Now the question is that some questions will be asked to the VPA and you will get an answer. So this is completely a different task. That is how to give an answer after the query has been erased from the user. So using a correctly identified sentence and its meaning or intentions, system have to succeed in finding the correct answer and formulating it. So first of all, it will understand the question, the meaning of proper question that will be asked to it. So it will try to understand the question and then it will formulate what to give an answer to that question. So this is completely a different analysis. Okay, so just a moment, I'll go back again. Okay, so here we were. As far as the speech to text is concerned, it was a little bit difficult task. But as far as text to speech is concerned, it is very easier to do, as already this is going to be an implementation part in robotics, where you provide the text to it, and as a result, it will have a speak. It will speak. So in this way, the text to speech is easier to implement as far as speech to text is concerned. Now, how this text to speech can be converted? So the module is completely different what for we have using for text speech to text. This is completely a different module which is for useful for converting the text to speech. So in the first part, we have seen that we have generated a digital text. Now this digital text will be given to the text analysis. So the analysis of the text will be done with the by mean of a dictionary. Then we'll be having this selection of the unit. Now selection of the unit will be have an comparative analysis with the speech database. So where the analysis can be done. And then we have a speech generation module. So here we will be having the speech generation module to generate a speech, and you'll get speech as an output. So this is how the text to speech can be converted. VPA works on a real time, as it is required output instantaneously. As we have given and command to its mic, the speech or the command that we have given first processed, converted into text. The text, the keys, words are extracted and then checked with the module which is stored in the local hard drive. If the keyword matches with any of the modules, then a particular module will be executed. If the key doesn't match, then any of the module will be just try again and didn't understand what the user wants. So this is how it is going to recognize by mean of text to speech. Now, after this application, we will move on to the last applications, and that is ML in medical diagnosis. I do feel so machine learning is one of the field which is thoroughly and mostly used in medical diagnosis. If you see that machine learning, where it has entered into the medical diagnosis is in every part of the medical diagnosis, like every part of the medical science. So I do feel so machine learning and AI will play an important role in the coming future as far as the surgery is concerned or the disease diagnosis is concerned. All that thing will become a little bit easier for detection because of ML and AI. Now, diagnosis is the most important thing. Like diagnosis of a disease actually is the most important concern as far as healthcare is concerned, because physicians have to make a judgment. It is completely based on study as well as the judgment and the experience what the physician has. But not every time I could say that diagnosis may go in a correct direction. So there are sometimes you have a bad judgment, or it may be a negligence or lack of concentrations that could result to on complications and could prolong the patient's recovery. So at that time, it becomes very much important to diagnose the disease correctly at the correct time. So now machine learning is playing an important role as far as medical diagnosis is also concerned. So let us see some of the sections where medical diagnosis have become easier by use of ML. First department is oncology department. So you know that oncology is very much related to the cancer diseases. So the most important is that whether you can detect the malignant tumor on time or not. So that the accuracy and precision of the diagnosis is very much crucial as far as the oncology is concerned. So machine learning can help to detect the diagnosis of the disease at the earlier stages. Second is pathology. So the need of a process large data also makes a pathology extremely lucrative for artificial intelligence implement. As the pathology is suffering through a very, I could say that the pathology is having one problem is that it's a huge amount of data they have to process. So you need to have some kind of assistant, and that can be done with the help of machine learning. So the most promising way of using the machine learning to indicate medical diagnosis is improving the precision of blood and cultural analysis with automated tissue and cell quantification. So in this way, it can help in pathology, mapping disease cell and flagging areas of interest on medical slide, creating tumor staging paradigm, then improving healthcare professionals' productivity by increasing the speed of a specific profile scanning. Then dermatology, so which is very much related with the skin diseases. So the diagnosis of the skin disease becomes very much easier with the help of machine learning. It will also help to reduce number of unnecessary biopsies that morely the patient has to suffer. So how it could be that the algorithm that separates the melanomas and malignant skin lesions with higher precision than that of human. So how it can be done is that tools that track the development and changes in the skin molds help detect pathological conditions at the earlier stages. The algorithm that pinpoints biological makers of nail fungus and dermatitis. This is completely related with the skin diseases that can be detected at the earlier stages. Then comes genetics and genomics. This is again quite one of the point where research is going on. A lot of research has been carried out in using machine learning for genetics and genomics. Even to understand the human genes, ML has been used. Recently, AI has helped the genetics progress significantly in transcription of human genes. And both machine learning and AI technologies have been the key players in preventive genetics. Scientists increasingly rely on algorithms to determine how drugs, chemicals, and environmental factors influence the human genome. So to understand about the good genes and bad genes, and if it is bad genes, then because of which factors you have a bad gene, that can be easily identified with the help of ML and AI. Mental health, again, a very important topic of medical diagnosis, because you can find that 60 to 65% today of the people are suffering through the mental illness. So to detect the mental illness at the right time, you need to have a very precise and very accurate algorithms. So artificial intelligence and machine learning is making quite an impact on mental health research, and has the efficiency of medical diagnosis through machine learning. The top applications include personalized cognitive behavior therapy, that is fueled by chatbots and virtual therapists, mental disease prevention by creating machine learning tools that help high-risk group avoid social isolation, identifying groups with high risk of suicide and preventing them from support and assistance, and early detection of mental disorders that may be including the clinical depression, bipolar disorders, anxiety, and much more. So all the terms that have been related with the mental health is very important to be diagnosed at a proper time or at the earlier stage. So the ML is not going to completely replace the orthodox medical diagnosis, but yes, it will give a support in order to increase the efficiency and accuracy of the diagnosis. That's what the thing is about the ML and AI. Critical care. So obviously the critical care word comes, then ICU will come into the picture. So the artificial intelligence and machine learning will help you to adjust the ventilators and other equipment settings according to the patient's conditions. Then using AI will help doctors to avoid poor judgment calls, premature extubation, and prolonged intubations. Then in addition, machine learning and ICU can help the physicians identify high-risk patients to make surely known early deterioration sign if is left unnoticed. So all these things is easily possible with the help of ML and AI. The most important thing is the poor judgment, or I could say that the negligence or the improper study or the human errors. All are these human errors, and because of that the life may be in danger. So we need to have some kind of accurate precision work that will help physicians to take a proper decision. Beyond that, there is another field that is called as an eye care. It is one of the most uh, delicate organ of the body. This is the diagnosis of the ophthalmology condition. So some of the latest innovations as far as eye care is concerned are AI-driven vision screening programs, then identifying diabetic retinopathy, and providing physicians with treatment insights by analyzing the patient data. So from 2018, we have seen a lot of machine learning scanners have been used for the eye care. Early stage diagnosis of a macular degeneration with the help of deep learning algorithms, and high precision glaucoma and cataract screening is one of the things that have been looked out for the eye care using machine learning. Diabetic, obviously there are different organs of the body where the diabetes starts affecting. So in order to understand the diagnosis and treating of the diabetes, over last decades, a lot of range of machine learning applications have been involved. Some of them has grown exponentially, like using vector machine modeling, building neural networks for pre-diabetic screening, creating tool for managing personalized insulin delivery, as well as artificial pancreas system, predicting treatable compliances in diabetes patients to improve the quality of their lives, then identifying genetic and other biomarkers for the diabetes. And overall, if you could say that ML much more helps in public health. So AI allows healthcare professionals to increase the scale of medical diagnosis using machine learning and shift from analyzing individual cases to monitoring committees and predicting the disease outbreaks. So these are some of the applications of machine learning. So first one, email spam, malware filtering, image recognition, speech recognition, traffic predictions, self-driving cars, virtual personal assistants, in which it is divided into 4 main categories: speech to text. Then comes syntax and semantics processing, in which you have syntax analysis, semantic analysis, and pragmatic analysis. Questioning and answering, and then text to speech is the 4th main category that will come here. So this is the block diagram for that thing. Then the ML is used in medical diagnosis like oncology, pathology, dermatology, genetics and genomes, mental health, critical care, eye care, diabetes, and obviously overall public health. That is the main concern. And this ML and AI will be helping physicians to take accurate results. So I do feel so. This is we have finished this 6th unit. So the notes, the link will be posted there. And the most important is that we will be continuing lectures with the practical sessions. So you have to join regularly this week completely, because we are going to see detailed revision also of the earlier experiment, as well as completion of the remaining experiments also. So that's from my side. We'll go with the attendance. A, roll number 1,
Present, sir.
2,
Present, sir.
3,
Present, sir.
4,
Present, sir.
5,
Present, sir.
6,
Yes, sir.
7, 8, 9,
Present, sir.
12, 9, 10, 11,
Present, sir.
12,
Present, sir.
13, 14,
Present, sir.
15,
Yes, sir.
16,
Yes, sir.
17,
Yes, sir.
18,
Present, sir.
19, 20,
Present, sir.
21, 22, 23,
22 present, sir.
okay, 23,
Present, sir.
24, 25,
Present, sir.
26,
Yes, sir.
27, 28,
Present, sir.
29, 30,
Yes, sir.
31, 32, 32, 33,
Present, sir.
34, 35,
Present, sir.
36,
Present.
37, 38, 39, 40, 41,
Present, sir.
42,
Yes, sir. 40.
40, 42, na? Hello,
40.
40, okay. 40,
Zero,
41, huh? Hello, 41,
41.
okay,
41.
41, 42, 43,
Yes, sir.
44, 45,
Present, sir.
46,
Yes,
47, 46 is
Yes,
there.
sir.
47 is there. 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55,
Yes, sir.
56, 57,
Yes, sir.
58, 59, 60, 61,
Yes, sir.
62, 63, 64,
Present.
65,
Yes, sir.
66, 67, 68, 69,
Yes, sir.
70, 71, 72.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other number remaining here?
31, sir.
Hmm? 31.
31.
I 31.
10. Sir,
10.
27.
20,
40, sir.
27, 40,
21.
21 आहे. Or okay, we'll go with the B division. 1, 2, 2, 3,
Present, sir.
4,
Yes, sir.
5,
Present.
6,
Present.
7, 8, 9,
Present.
10,
Present.
11, 12,
Present.
13,
Present, sir.
14, 15,
Present.
16,
Present.
17,
Present.
18,
Present.
19,
Present.
20,
Present.
21, 22, 23,
Present.
24, 25,
Present.
26,
Present.
27,
Present.
28, 29,
Present, sir.
okay,
Present,
29,
sir. Present, sir.
30,
Present.
31,
Present.
32,
Present.
33,
Present, sir.
34,
Present, sir.
35, 36,
Present, sir.
37, 38, 39, 40,
Present, sir.
41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47,
Present, sir.
48, 49, 50, 50, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59,
Present, sir.
okay, 60, 61, 62,
present, sir.
61 is there, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66,
63, sir.
63, okay, 67,
Present, sir.
68,
Yes, sir.
69,
Present, sir.
70. Okay. Any number missing out?
B58.
Hmm?
B58.
हाँ, I B 58.
Sir, 28.